Hello everyone. In a topic of drugs and diseases, now the time has come to discuss about a disease with which each one of you must have suffered at least once in your lifetime. This disease becomes more and more common as the weather changes. In fact, this disease is so common that it has the word common itself in its name. Can you guess which disease I'm talking about? Well, I'm talking about common cold. And do you know how this common cold is caused? Actually, this common cold is caused by an organism called virus. And from the changing weather, I'm reminded of the rainy season, which is the season for breeding of different kinds of mosquitoes. And one of the diseases caused by these mosquitoes is malaria. This malaria disease is caused by the female Anopheles mosquito. But do you know what is the root cause of this disease? Actually, this disease is caused by an organism called Plasmodium. And this Plasmodium is nothing but a parasite. This parasite Plasmodium is carried by the female Anopheles mosquito and is transferred into our bodies when it bites us. Now, after you get malaria, you go to the hospital for your treatment, right? But have you noticed that in the same hospital there will be signs saying cough for more than 3 weeks can be TB. What is this TB? Well, actually, TB stands for tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is a disease of the respiratory system. And this disease is caused by an organism called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. This Mycobacterium tuberculosis comes under a class of organisms called bacteria. Now, from the respiratory system, let's move a little bit up onto our scalp. Many of you might be suffering from an itchy scalp and would have noticed a white flaky substance falling down from your scalp. This condition is called having dandruff. And actually, this dandruff is triggered by an organism called Malassezia. And this Malassezia is nothing but a fungus. So, these bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites come under a class of organisms called microorganisms. And as the name suggests, microorganisms are organisms which can be only seen under a microscope and are totally invisible to our naked eye. So, as it is clear from all these examples, diseases in human beings and animals can be caused by these microorganisms. So, in today's class, we are going to discuss a class of drugs called antimicrobials. Actually, antimicrobials are drugs which destroy or prevent the development or inhibit the pathogenic action of these microbes like bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. And quite obviously, drugs working against bacteria are called antibacterial drugs. Drugs working against viruses are called antiviral drugs. Drugs against fungi are called antifungal drugs. And finally, drugs working against parasites are called antiparasitic drugs. These antimicrobial drugs are further classified into 3 categories, namely antibiotics, antiseptics, and disinfectants. Let's understand each of these categories one by one. Now let us start our discussion with the first class of antimicrobial drugs, namely antibiotics. So initially, antibiotics were defined as chemical compounds solely produced by microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, and molds. These antibiotic chemicals had the effect of inhibiting the growth or completely destroying other microorganisms. And because these antibiotics were less toxic to human beings and animals, they were widely used. So now, as time progressed with the development of synthetic methods, scientists became capable of synthesizing these antibiotic compounds by themselves in lab. So now we don't need to depend upon these microorganisms for their synthesis. So because of this, the definition of antibiotics was further modified. So antibiotic was redefined as a substance which can be produced partly or wholly by chemical synthesis and which in low concentration inhibits the growth or completely destroys microorganisms by intervening in their metabolic processes. So the basic concept of all antibiotics is that these antibiotic drugs should not have any effect on their host cells but should be selectively harmful to the invading microbes. Now, bacteria were first on the list of microbes against which drugs were being made. So, in the early 19th century, a bacteriologist named Paul Ehrlich developed a drug called arsphenamine or salvarsan which was used in the treatment of a bacterial disease called syphilis. If you notice in the structure of salvarsan, we have the presence of two arsenic atoms. And because of the presence of arsenic, this drug was actually toxic to human beings. But still, this drug was used for the treatment of syphilis because this drug had a greater toxicity to the bacteria spirochete which caused syphilis. This discovery was so important at that point of time that Paul Ehrlich was awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine in the year 1908 for this discovery. Now, this drug called salvarsan is far from perfect because it is toxic to human beings due to its arsenic content. So there was a need to develop a more effective drug than salvarsan. This task was again taken up by Paul Ehrlich, who noticed that salvarsan contains a arsenic double bond arsenic linkage. And this linkage was quite similar to nitrogen double bond nitrogen linkage present in azodyes. And he also noticed that azodyes were capable of coloring living tissues. And now with this knowledge, Paul Ehrlich embarked on the journey of developing a drug resembling azodyes which would selectively bind to bacterial cells without harming human cells. And after 24 years of his receiving Nobel Prize in the year 1908, he was successful in the year 1932 in developing such a drug named Prontosil. And this drug contained an azodide linkage instead of an arsenic one and was effective against bacteria. But the story of antibacterial drug discovery does not end here. You see, science is like a ladder, where the first step of the ladder was discovery of arsphenamine. The second step was the discovery of Prontosil. And the third step was the discovery that Prontosil breaks down in our body to form a compound called sulfanilamide. And this sulfanilamide is the actual active ingredient responsible for the antibacterial effects of Prontosil. Now, if you notice carefully, sulfanilamide contains a sulfonamide group. This group you have also seen in our previous video where I discussed about classification of drugs based on chemical structure. So, this landmark discovery gave birth to a class of drugs called sulfa drugs. And after this, large number of sulfonamide analogues were synthesized, and out of them, the most effective one was sulfapyridine. Now, an accidental event in the year 1928 in the lab of bacteriologist Alexander Fleming changed the course of medicine forever. Now, let me describe it to you. What was this accidental event? So basically, Alexander Fleming went for a 2 weeks long vacation. And when he returned back to his lab, while talking to his colleague, he noticed that in an agar plate where bacterial colonies were growing, a fungi was also growing. And around that fungi, there was no growth of bacteria. So basically, the fungi was preventing the growth of bacteria around itself. So what Alexander Fleming did was, he took that mold or fungi, isolated it and found that this fungi belonged to a class of fungi called penicillium. He isolated the active compound from this fungi and named it penicillin. And he further found that this penicillin had effective antibacterial properties. Now, Alexander Fleming actually isolated a very minute amount of penicillin. But for clinical trials, we require a large amount of drug. So it took almost 13 years to isolate such a large amount of penicillin. So Alexander Fleming was awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine in the year 1945. Now, antibiotics are further classified into two categories based on their effect on microbes. So antibiotics having a killing effect on microbes are called sterile antibiotics, and antibiotics having inhibitory effect on microbes are called static antibiotics. So in case of bacteria, antibiotics having a killing effect on bacteria are called bactericidal antibiotics, and antibiotics having an inhibitory effect on bacteria are called bacteriostatic antibiotics. Namely, penicillin, aminoglycosides and ofloxacin come under bactericidal antibiotics. Now, antibiotics like chloramphenicol, tetracycline and erythromycin come under bacteriostatic antibiotics. Now, antibiotics are further classified into three categories based on their spectrum of action. This spectrum of action is basically the range of bacteria or microorganisms that are affected by a particular antibiotic. And these three categories are broad spectrum antibiotics, narrow spectrum antibiotics, and limited spectrum antibiotics. Now, to understand this classification based on spectrum of action in case of bacteria, we need to understand how bacteria is classified into two categories based on the Gram's stain method. In this method, basically in the very first step, a crystal violet stain is added onto the bacteria. So this bacteria absorbs this crystal violet stain and has a purple color. In the second step, this bacteria which is colored with purple color is washed with ethanol and acetone. So now, if this bacteria retains this purple color, then such a bacteria will be called a gram-positive bacteria. However, if this purple color is washed off and the bacteria becomes colorless, then such a bacteria will be called a gram-negative bacteria. In the third step, a gram-negative bacteria is stained purple with a counter stain, namely fuchsin or safranin. You will learn more about these stains in the topic of dyes in our further classes. Now, coming back to the classification of antibacterial drugs based on their spectrum of action. So, antibiotics which kill or inhibit a wide range of gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria are called broad-spectrum antibiotics. Next, the antibiotic effective against just gram-positive or gram-negative bacteria are called narrow-spectrum antibiotics. And finally, antibiotics effective against just a single organism or a disease are called limited-spectrum antibiotics. Now, penicillin G, in which the R group is a benzyl group, is actually a narrow spectrum antibiotic. So there is a need to increase the spectrum of this antibiotic. So in order to do so, synthetic modifications like ampicillin and amoxicillin were made. These synthetic modifications have a broad spectrum. Now, a word of caution. Before taking penicillin, you should absolutely get tested for any allergic reaction to penicillin. So we should never take these antibiotics without the consultation of our doctors. This penicillin in India is made at Hindustan Antibiotics in Pimpri and also in many private sector industries. Vancomycin and ofloxacin are other examples of broad-spectrum antibiotics. Even an antibiotic called desidazarine is known, which is toxic to certain strains of cancer cells. Now, in the year 1947, a broad-spectrum antibiotic called chloramphenicol was discovered. The main advantage of chloramphenicol is that it can be easily absorbed in the gastrointestinal tract and hence can be given orally to patients. Chloramphenicol is used in the treatment of typhoid, dysentery, acute fever, certain forms of urinary infections, pneumonia, and meningitis. So antibiotics are so important that they are given to patients just before a surgery. Actually, these antibiotics reduce infection at the site of the surgery. So in a way, it is almost impossible to carry out any surgical operation without the use of antibiotics. So I hope, friends, you have clearly understood about the discovery, effects, and classification of antibiotics. So before we move to antiseptics and disinfectants in our next class, let's do a quick recap of what we have learned today. Antimicrobials. It is a class of drugs that tend to destroy or prevent development or inhibit the pathogenic action of microbes such as bacteria, fungi, viruses, and parasites. Antimicrobial drugs are classified into three categories, namely antibiotics, antiseptics, and disinfectants. Antibiotic. It is defined as a substance produced wholly or partly by chemical synthesis which in low concentrations inhibits the growth or destroys microorganisms by intervening in their metabolic processes. For example, penicillin, prontosil, and chloramphenicol act as antibiotics. Antibacterial antibiotics are further classified into two categories, namely bactericidal, which have a killing effect on bacteria, bacteriostatic, which have an inhibitory effect on bacteria. Penicillin, aminoglycosides, and ofloxacin are bactericidal antibiotics, and erythromycin, tetracycline, and chloramphenicol come under bacteriostatic antibiotics. Based on their spectrum of action, antibiotics are classified further into three categories: broad-spectrum antibiotics, narrow-spectrum antibiotics, and limited-spectrum antibiotics.